The federal government, yes, but the Republican Party specifically. I mean, Frank Figliuzzi, Chris Wray testified today as clearly as anyone testified after 9/11 about Osama bin Laden being responsible for the plot on 9/11. He as clearly and explicitly laid the blame at white supremacists inspired domestic terrorism for the insurrection and the largest number of arrests in this country under domestic terror bucket-style crimes. How do you pursue domestic terrorism with the same vigor that we pursued foreign terrorism if one of the two political parties won't call it what it is?
You know, sometimes it's the FBI's job to speak very painful truths, and it's certainly the FBI director's job to speak the truth, even when a significant portion of who's listening doesn't like what they're hearing. And I'm sure that was the case today. I'm sure it was the case in prior testimony of the director when he pointed out once again that it is domestic terrorism that's the threat, and it is the subset of white supremacists that commit lethal violence. That jumped out at me today is the word lethality when he described the kind of violence that they're seeing from white supremacist groups. But here's the challenge. We're 25 years after the Oklahoma City bombing, pulled off by two white guys, two domestic terrorists. And here we are again, still without all of the tools, still without a domestic terrorism law. Now today, armed with the knowledge that the FBI considers what happened on January 6th to be an act of domestic terrorism, because we define domestic terrorism in the law, but we don't outlaw it. So is this Senate, is this Congress the one that's going to make a difference? Do you see any indications? I'm asking a rhetorical question. Do any of us see any indications that they're going to support a full-fledged, hard-nosed domestic terrorism effort? Do I think they're going to support regulation of social media that fueled and fanned the flames of how we got here right now? Or are they going to denounce their own base that is, as Chris Wray described in terms of the people who actually committed the violence, domestic terrorists, white supremacists? I think not. I think we're still on a journey to almost nowhere. I don't think we've improved much since the Oklahoma City bombing. In fact, I think we may be in a worse position.
Frank, let me follow up on that. We do, for the first time since Christopher Wray has testified under oath and uttered these words, racially motivated violent extremism, specifically of the sort that advocates the superiority of the white race, is a persistent, evolving threat. It's the biggest chunk of our racially motivated violent extremism cases for sure, and it is the biggest chunk of our domestic terrorism portfolio. He said that in September, but Bill Barr was the AG. Bill Barr didn't follow it with an address to the nation or a trip to every U.S. attorney's office or even a mission statement that we've heard about. I mean, having Merrick Garland as our country's attorney general, who quoted that September testimony from Christopher Wray, what can the Justice Department do to strengthen Wray's position and finding on the threat of violent extremism and white supremacy?
So I think people like Merrick Garland will make a difference. Here's why. It has to be a whole of society approach. It is not just the FBI's role. It's not just law enforcement's role to make centuries of hate go away overnight. It's educators. It's the business community. It's big tech. It's legislators all together. And I think someone like Merrick Garland can help with that motivation. But also, you know, we talk a lot about in the news COVID relief and the finances that are going to go to help get us out of this financial mess caused by a global pandemic. Let's also not forget it's going to cost money to retrain police departments. This is a whole new area for them. It's the counties and the little towns and villages where this rises up. And training and grant money has to be made available by the Department of Justice to literally show them how to do this in lockstep with the FBI.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.